Welcome back to Cal Park Bros. Jason and I are fresh off the second segment discussing the Bears trade routes. And I'm not talking, U.S. trade. Ron Prohl's just basically put it on a fire sale. It's all about next year. Clearly not this year. Herschel Walker might be saying the same damn thing. Jason, I don't even think you follow politics that closely. But for some odd reason, since it's football, I decided we was gonna get the 2-for-1 sale tonight, baby. Oh, jeez.
I love hearing you laugh during the show now. So keep it up, whether the jokes be corny or not. Keep it up.
Yeah, that's what she said.
And I knew you were going to say that. As soon as it came out of my mouth, I knew you were going to say that.
Anyways, so the reason why I felt compelled to bring up the Herschel Walker shenanigans, first off, Herschel Walker's fucking nuts. And it may not even be his fault. After all, he has been hit in the head several times, having played football, tens of years ago. And I'm not even saying that because he's a Republican. Although it is related. Come on. So Mr. Pro-Life here says, news comes out that basically his ex-girlfriend states that he wanted her to terminate a pregnancy in 2011. His ex-girlfriend opts to have their son instead. And of course, with the midterms coming up and him going up against Raphael Warnock, the news comes out that he basically paid for her to have an abortion in 2009. And they ended their relationship after she refused, right?
So they say. That is a report out there.
Yeah, and this is all from New York Times, so anybody can look this up. And this is a reputable, news source. This is not Newsmax. This is not Alex Jones bullshit outlet. That got sued for billions of dollars, right?
Correct.
So this is as real as it gets. Shout out to Jeezy. I mean, this is pretty dastardly, man, to try and send somebody a check for $700 and pray you are feeling better and hope like shit is just all good.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I am. I mean, this guy is pretty much built a career as a conservative man leading with the, pro-life bona fides, but on the DL, that's not how you want to get down in his personal life.
Now, I do want to say this. I definitely recognize the hypocrisy in that, running on a political platform of being anti-abortion, because of course he's a red candidate, and then like you said, on two separate women can say that you encourage them to get an abortion, even going back 30 years ago. But before I go into anything, I do want to say the possibility that someone can always change their position on certain things.
Change of position is how they ended up pregnant in the first place. One. And two, that's not really the issue. The issue is that it's this holier than thou bullshit that he is leading with.
How so?
I mean, he is basically, it's that whole family first bullshit that him and other family first Republicans are leading with in the first place, that say they know best. They're trying to say that they have the moral high ground.
Well, and I disagree with you on that, but in all fairness, I have to say both sides kind of do that, which is kind of.
We're not talking about sides. We're talking about one guy, Jason.
Well, what I'm saying, but what I'm saying is, you mentioned more.
running for office.
Okay. Then you could even if you want to name one guy, the guy on the other side is probably the same way when it comes to moral high ground.
No, but we're talking about one guy. So
that's fine. But what I'm saying is, you mentioned he acts like he's on the moral high ground. That's fine. Which you're probably right. But I don't want to. I don't. Me personally, I don't like singling out one individual when it comes to moral high ground. When, to be honest, that can be said by any politician, regardless of who you are, or again, what party, quote unquote, you follow, or what color.
I didn't single him out. His baby mama did. And
which one? Both of them.
Right. And listen, Jason, you can talk that shit all you want. Until Raphael Warnock gets caught out stepping out on his woman, that dog will not hunt. And that's now 2 dog references in show 81. Put it in the show notes.
I'm glad you mentioned the whole got caught part, because I can harken that back to a lot of other things you talked about, but we'll save that for a different time. But yeah, I'm not trying to absolve Herschel Walker in any of this stuff at all. It's definitely very, excuse me, at the very least appears extremely, very hypocritical. Clearly. I was just mentioning moral high ground can be, something applied to anybody. But when it comes to this dude, yeah, very hypocritical. It definitely just points out the fact that, can these politicians really be trusted?
Okay.
He's no different. And there's another go ahead.
That's my question for you, Jason. Have you heard any speech from Herschel Walker?
Before we hopped on, I actually watched the majority of the debate that he had with Warnock about 2 weeks ago or so. So I watched that tonight. Yes.
Okay. Based off of that debate, which one of those motherfuckers clearly has played football?
See, okay, I'm not going to answer that question, because I personally am not going down the road of somebody having CTE. I'm not going down the road. I know that's where you're going, which is fine. I'm not going there. So I'm not going to answer your question, sir. But you have a point to make, so please go ahead.
I mean, my point is already out there. I mean, anyone could go actually look at that video and say, clearly, my man is missing a few brain cells. Not you.
Okay. So, okay. No.
Your brain cells are intact.
That's highly debatable by many people. But what I'm going to say, though, or about what I'm going to ask you, though, is you make that statement. What did you see to make you kind of question? Not question. What did you see him do, say, or act that makes you think that he's missing, or some of his brain cells are wrong, or whatever you want to word or phrase it?
Literally the video, and on multiple occasions.
Okay, what did he do?
No, not just what he did, what he said, and how he said it.
Okay. So now
I'm not gonna rehash it tonight. That's why I'm asking you, because you said you saw it all.
Okay, so I'll say this. Now, I'm not by any way whatsoever relating this to CTE, but obviously there was one clip of him going around social media, TikTok especially, but people were reacting to one certain aspect that he was talking about when it comes to healthcare. And he basically made, I can't even repeat what he said because it didn't make any sense at all. So I will say that I'm not relating that to CTE at all. What I will relate that to is something I was going to bring up was one thing when he won the nomination to do this. One thing he said was, "I'm not a politician." The same thing people lauded Trump for when he ran. That's why people liked him, because he's not a politician. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
And the point being, I get that, because he hasn't spent his entire career in politics, like everybody else has, which is fine. I get that. But the fact of the matter is, just because you didn't come into it as a politician doesn't matter, because guess what? This is the job you're going for. So that means you're a politician now. And when I watch him during that debate, when I watch his acceptance speech, all stuff like that, he sounds like a politician. He acted like a politician during the debate when it comes to interrupting, not adhering to the time allowances, stuff like that, wanting to rebut this, rebut that, even though the moderators keep telling people, hey, you got 30 seconds, 60 seconds, I got to move on. So anybody that comes into this, either now or in the future, that has some type of big name celebrity status, I definitely want to say Herschel Walker's a celebrity but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anybody that says not a politician, yeah, you may not. Again, like I said, I'll say it again. Just because you didn't go into this, with a history or career of politics, doesn't mean you're not a politician. The second you put your name out there to be elected, you're a politician.
I think that's an important distinction, and yeah, that little this isn't person isn't a career politician. I'm like, listen, the minute you put your ass on the ballot, you it. Congrats, you. That's like once a quarterback start running, like congrats, you're eligible, champ.
Exactly. So Terrence, I'm not going to put on the air what you do for a living or anything, but to my knowledge, the role you hadn't done it before, right? But you're in it now, and on day one when you got that job, that means you are that role, professionally. Just because you didn't have it before doesn't mean you aren't that, right?
I think therefore I am. Yes.
Right. Yeah. So all that crap can go out the window. Now, that being said, I think a lot of his potential. Now, not saying he may or may not have some issues with that. I know he just said he got over his mental health issue. Now, some of the stumbling around he did or explanations he made, like particularly the one about the healthcare, like I mentioned, some of that may be his inexperience with being a politician, not knowing how to fully debate somebody in a public forum like that, in a supposedly professional forum, which that can be debatable as well, how professional it actually was. But I think a lot of that had to do with that. He doesn't know what the hell he was doing. Because I can even watch some of the debates with Trump as well. Somebody who's inexperienced doing that. It's the same thing. Now, somebody just because Trump's an idiot, I'm not willing to put Herschel Walker in the same category as Donald Trump as being as much of an idiot. I just think that I just chalked it up to his inexperience, which was personally, I kind of think should be a reason maybe people should rethink voting for him. Frankly, that's just me. But that's just me. My personal opinion. I know people are going to say different. Whatever.
Yeah. I feel like I remember, do you guys, and listeners, feel free to call this out on emails or voicemails, Remember when Dennis Miller was partaking in the ESPN Monday Night Football?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Remember when he's like, hey, you want to have the president be able to have a beer with you? Well, now this is the price you're paying for it. Guys like Herschel Walker running for fucking office. Thanks a lot, Dennis.
Well, we can probably go back a little further. Well, not further than Dennis Miller. We'll go back further than Trump and Herschel Walker. We can go back to other celebrities being politicians. Maybe not you got Jesse the Body Ventura, Arnold Schwarzenegger running for politics and actually winning. Which hey, it is what it is. I mean, they won, so be it. But I think those two things, or those two people, led the way for people like Donald Trump to get in office. Led the way for people like Herschel Walker to run. Because why not? If Donald Trump can do it, why can't I? And to a certain degree, that makes sense. Anybody with any kind of money or name value can now run for office. Because guess what? Because somebody like Donald Trump had the highest political office in this country. So if Donald Trump can be president, why can't Herschel Walker be a senator or governor or whatever the hell he's trying to be?
Believe it or not, I'm walking on air.
Keep going. I do enough singing for the show. I need you to bust out a whole verse. So let's go.
That's just enough. And shout out to anybody that actually knows where the hell that's from. you and metal.
Why don't you tell them, Terrence? Tell them so they get the reference.
Alpine Bros T-shirt. Shout out to the fans. And with that said, we'll wrap up the show.